I'm the Reverend Maggie Lovins, and I am blessed to be your community minister. I use the pronouns she and her. Please take a moment to silence your phones for sacred silence. And we welcome everyone. We are glad that you are here. And as we light our chalice this morning, may this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring light and love into this world. May the clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. And may the wisdom of ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Every one of us can be a blessing to this world. And I invite you to rise as you are able for the saying of our church covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And while we are still standing, turn to your neighbor and say good morning. We haven't done that for a while. Greet your neighbor, say hi. Hey ladies. Hi y'all, good morning again, Ruth. Oh, see, we do like each other. This is great. All right. Our opening hymn will be 116, I'm on my way. If I can invite the choir back up.
All right, so this is a call and response, and we had the idea to divide the congregation call and response. Or, no, let's do call and response. and I'll do the call too with you guys. So, on my way. I'm on my way to freedom.
I'm going
Now is our time for collecting our offering. This church is solely supported by the people sitting here in the chairs. So if you are able, please do give. Our greeters will come around with baskets here in just a moment for you. If you need an envelope to make sure that your pledge goes in the right place, let us know. But we are grateful for your offerings. And there's the other way you can give. I like this. This is a good thing for me. This is what I use quite often. So you can give to us online. You can give to us via phone, whichever is good for you. Do we have a little music for the offering?
Sure.
Just a little something, something. Let's do that for the offering. For a little something, something. I like that. All right. And now we will have our time for all ages with Reverend Ruth Spears.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes. It's a wonderful thing. I'm Reverend Ruth Spears. And I have titles that are this long in the African tradition. My first level of priesthood, my name was Osunfemi. Osunfemi. It means Oshun loves me. In the African, the Nigerian tradition, Oshun is an avatar of God's energy, and she is the energy of fresh water, that water that nourishes your body, that nourishes the land so that your crops will grow, and you can take care of yourself. She is the energy, God's energy of love and money and all the sweet and wonderful things in life, including employment. Because nowadays, if you don't have a job, you don't have money. In ancient times, there was so much gold in Africa that it had no meaning anymore. Clothes had gold thread woven into them. Jewelry, gold beads, and chunks of gold woven into them. Money overflowed. So in the interior of the continent, what you couldn't get was what was called a cowrie shell. And cowrie shells are also an indication of Oshun because it comes from water. So one of the things I have for you is I have a sample of ancient money. Look what we come up with. I think that's a scroll. And everyone can have a cowrie shell. Now the significance of the way the cowrie shell is made. Okay? Normally the Every cowrie shell has a little bump. You've seen them, I'm sure. There's a little bump on the backside. And the bump is knocked out so that it's open, and this way it can be made into jewelry. It can be handled more easily because it's laid flat in your hand, and it can go into your pouch or your purse and sit there more easily. So if everyone would take a cowrie shell and remember that in ancient times, this was worth more than gold. Ocean, water, fresh, sweet, running water. In this day and age of climate change, and how important it is to have sweet, clean water. This was not the only time when people did not take care of the water. And so there is a folk tale about Oshun and how people didn't take care of water. And if you don't mind, my bum knee says, sit down. So, there is a storybook that has the story in detail, but when I do my classes, I do classes on ancient Nigerian history and the spiritual system that goes along with that culture. It's not a religion, it's called Orisha, and it is the spiritual system that goes along with the culture. And the spiritual system says, if you are a good person at home and with your family, then you're to be a good person in the street with your neighbors. You're to be a good person in your community. You're to be a good person in your politics. You are to be a good person when you pray. Okay? So, in the theme of clean, fresh water, there came a time when people did not take care of the water. They dumped their trash. I've been in Egypt, and people bathe in the Nile. There's crocodiles in the Nile. There's oxen in the Nile. There is runoff from crops in the Nile. So we were told don't swim in the Nile, the Americans. Don't swim in the Nile. Don't drink the water that's not bottled because the water is clean. So Shem saw this, God's loving power of clean water and all those sweet and wonderful things in life. God saw this and said, we have to do something to teach the people that we can't pollute the water. Now, pollute is a new word in the pantheon of ancient African custom. But pollute the water. So there was a drought. There was a huge drought. People all over the world, the water started drying up. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We don't have fresh water to drink. Look at all the garbage in the water. I mean, there's rotting vegetables. There is pollution from the animals. People have just dumped all kinds of stuff in the water. What are we going to do? And so the prayers went up. Oh God, please, bring us the rain so that we can have fresh water. We will take care of the water from now on. We won't let this happen again. And Oshun came forth, and she told the people, as long as you take care of your homes the way you're supposed to, take care of yourselves the way you're supposed to, take care of your animals the way you're supposed to, I will make sure that God hears your prayers and you will have clean, fresh water. And the rains came, and the snow came back, and the waterfalls had water coming out of them again, and the stream started to flow, fresh, clean, sweet water. And people all over the world rejoiced, and they learned that they can't abuse nature. They have to take care of what they have, or they won't have it anymore. And I think that is something that we are learning today. If the lessons that we are to learn are cyclical, am I having a hard time?
Well, somebody said they were having trouble hearing you. We should try one of these mics.
That's because I speak soft. I don't hear anything now. Do you hear me?
No, we're working on it. Forget it. Forget it. Try again.
Now? Now?
I don't think that was plugged in, like.
Anyhow.
That one is the chalice.
If these lessons are cyclical, all right?
There you go.
Then, how do they say it? What goes around comes around?
Yes.
So if we don't take care of what we have, and we know this in our families, we won't have it anymore. Take care of yourselves. Take care of what you have. Take care of the air. And by all means, take care of the water.
Ashe. Right? Sing the children out.
Yes,
Reverend Maggie.
please.
You guys ready to sing the children out? 1, 2, 3, and
Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. And I will invite Reverend Ruth Spears to give us a little bit of context and a little bit of more information on some of the music and the musical instruments that are being played here today. Reverend Ruth, you want to give us a little bit of information?
I think that what I'm explaining is a little bit about the top. And Mike is training to be a sacred baton drummer, which means that he is training to be able to play the drum in the African tradition to honor God. The baton is played in many different contexts and scenarios, but the drum in the African tradition is the voice of God. And so we don't stay still, and you don't hear drumming, you don't stay still. And it's part of the tambourine and the cymbal, the drum, when you make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Nothing has changed as far as spirituality is concerned when it comes to the continent or this continent. And then the songs, the call and response. Because there were people who made songs up and nobody else knew what the words were. So they would have to sing the words first, and then the people would repeat them. And as they would go around the community, they would sing the words first, the people would repeat them. They didn't have computers, they didn't have television, they didn't have telephones, so this computer remembered everything, and that was very important. So after they sang the songs the first time and the people repeated them a few times, then the people were able to sing the songs. These singers would sing the heritage of the nation, and they would be invited to big ceremonies, and they would play the drum for God, and they would sing the song for the people, and the people would repeat the song. And that's where your call and response came from.
And for this song, we're gonna do, we talk about a child. And Maggie, are you saying that the words for this one aren't in?
That one is the other one, sorry.
Okay, good. So it will be, yes. And when we say a child here in this tradition, we're talking about ourselves. We are all children of, the various divine sparks that get referenced in the concept of Orisha. So the choir is going to come up and sing this. And I want to thank the choir for being game to learn these this new foreign music, which to a large degree comes to us through Cuba. From Nigeria through Cuba, where it sort of survived and evolved over the last couple hundred years. And then Laura Keith King told me that a lot of times we are reluctant to sing foreign words. So for a couple of these, we're going to do English words, and there will be one where we do foreign words, and I'm hoping that you guys can prove Laura Keith King wrong, or at least show that we've evolved. All right. So this rhythm is called Oduwa. The different rhythm, these were talking drums in Nigeria. Nobody in Cuba knows how to speak with them. There's like maybe 2 people left in Nigeria who do, apparently. But the rhythms are often prayers. Oduwa is like the Orisha of time. And they'll be like, they will exactly shadow like these ancient spiritual prayers. So, doom, 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 day. Hear a child to save, who may grow, who for death is not ready. A child to save, who may grow. I know that we go. Hear a child to save, who may grow, who for death is not ready. A child to save, who may grow. I know that we go. And we're singing to our ancestors here. Hear a child to save, who may grow, who for death is not ready. A child to save, who may grow. I know that we go. Hear a child to save, who may grow, who for death is not ready. A child to save, who may grow. I know that we go. One more time and just move yourselves a little. Hear a child to save, who may grow, who for death is not ready. A child to save, who may grow. I know that we go. Beautiful. Thank you guys for being brave, too. I forget what's next, Reverend Maggie. All right. Oh, the Pataki? Okay. Oh, the Elegua Pataki. Yeah. So a Pataki is like, what? Yeah, it's a folk tale.
But I'll start it standing. And the Pataki is like a folk tale. But a lot of times it's a cautionary tale, like Hansel and Gretel. Like cartoons. Did you ever notice how violent cartoons are? They're for children. Folk tales are for children. They look at the things that happen in folk tales. This is a good one. What kind of? Now, Elegba is like an avatar of destiny. Elegba is that energy that helps you make decisions. And if you make good decisions, your life will be easy. This is a fact, no? If you make poor decisions, your life will be harder. Yeah. When we lived in Germany, there was my husband was in the military, and there was a commercial that would come on. And this little guy in a red suit would run into a brick wall. And he'd get up and he'd run into that brick wall. And then the announcer would come on and say, "Kids, don't practice at home." Yeah, Legba. In the tradition, when a child is born, there is what's called a reading done. The correct word for it is divination. It is the casting of lots, like they did in the Bible. And the parents are told the life this child can have. Later on, the child's a little older, another reading is done. And the parents are told what they need to do to ensure that this child has the good destiny that is available to them. So we have these two children. And the readings were done. And they were told that if they worked together during their lives, they would be prosperous. So they worked together during their lives and they became very prosperous. Okay. So one day, they were sitting on each side of the path. The path is here. One is sitting here, one is sitting there, and they're talking. Well, the backstory is, if they worked together, they would be prosperous, but there were other things that they needed to do. We call God Olodumare. That's the Nigerian word for God, Olodumare. The Nigerian word for Jesus is Olodumare. Okay. I'm not used to this. But anyhow, they were told not only would they have to work together, they would have to do things to show Olodumare that they were serious about what they wanted him or her to do in their lives. And so there was an appointed time, an appointed day, there were appointed things that they needed to do. Okay, so this was the appointed day, the appointed time was coming, and they were sitting talking to each other. All right, so this young man comes walking up the path. Everybody knows everybody, right? If someone new came down the aisle, you would notice it was someone new. They noticed it was someone new. And on one side of his hat, it was black. And on the other side of his hat, it was red. to go pick up the offering that these young men were supposed to have made. But now they're busy trying to figure out who this person is walking into the village. So he goes to the appointed place, and the offering could have been a bowl of fruit. It could have been a plate of food. Any number of things. Just an offering to show God that they were serious about their good fortune. It wasn't there. So, Orisha turned around. Remember, he has a two-sided hat. One side is black, one side is red. He turns around and leaves. And he's walking out of the village. And the two men look up and say, "Who is this stranger leaving the village? We didn't see him come in." Oops. And they start arguing over who this might be. They forget all about their responsibility. We get sidetracked sometimes, don't we? And they argue and they argue and they argue. And then they break friendship. And then their crops start to fail. And then they don't have the income that they had before. And then they don't have the prosperity that they had before. Ooh, why? What is the moral to this story? Well, when I first heard it, before I knew about the backstory, I thought, well, maybe the moral to the story is don't argue conjecture. Don't argue opinion. That is one of the morals. But the big moral of the story is do what you say you're going to do when you are supposed to do it, like you are supposed to do it. This is a story that goes back thousands of years. This is the same thing that we're telling our children today. There are some things that do not change. So there was another story I was supposed to tell. And it was about the avatar of, his name is Ochosi. He is a hunter and a tracker. And so if you can hunt and track, you can take care of yourself. Those of you who hunt, you have a track game, so you know what I'm talking about. My husband was a hunter. We would fish and we would camp. My stepfather was a hunter. And then the men in the family were in the military, so okay. So Ochosi was very good at what he did, and he had special powers. He could see things that no one else could see. And he was an excellent marksman. Where's that going to use it? He had a beautiful bird in a cage, and he wanted a second beautiful bird, which he found. He brought it home, put it in the cage, went back down to go hunting. His mother comes over, unannounced. His mother's too. I have 2 sons. And she saw these 2 birds in the cage, and they were exactly alike. What in the world does this boy need with 2 birds that are exactly alike? Well, birds are up for grabs when it comes to dinner. So she took one of the birds and she starts off. Well, Chelsea comes back and finds that one of his birds is gone. Oh my God. Well, being the excellent marksman that he is, he directs his arrow to find the person who stole from him. And he hears a shout, and he says, oh my goodness, I've got them all. So what is the moral to this story? How about have more information before you act. It's better to forgive than to have remorse. Sometimes, when we have more than we need, to other people, we look like we're greedy. But it doesn't matter what other people think of what we have or what we don't. We still need to be more generous in the things that we do. And those are the cautionary tales from the Yoruba people.
That was beautiful. There's a story that I tell that is so akin to the hat story. I love that so much. And we have another song for y'all. We do not have the words for it. I do have the words up there for it. I'm more advanced today than I thought I am. So if you'd like to sing along, there we go. But I'm going to let Mike introduce it because he's better at that part.
So they'll be playing a rhythm called Yatopa. It's for Elegua, who that first Pataki was about. And then we're going to be praying to Elegua, who's the person that, the Orisha that opens the way, the doorway to like the mystical dimension. So after we sung to the ancestors, now we're singing to Elegua, saying, please open the doorway between dimensions so that we can have a spiritual experience here. And we're going to do call and response. We'll probably just do the first part of it. It's going to be...
but it's in...
Oh, okay, so this is the meaning. So just listen to what I say. I'm going to say, Ago, Ile, Ago. Ago means make way, and Ile means temple. So, Ago, Ile, Ago, 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 ya, Ago, Ile. Bye.
originally born here in Pensacola, but grew up in California. She's a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, a wife, a minister, chief, priestess, life coach, and world traveler. She's back in Pensacola since the early 2000s, and she's currently the high priestess at Osun's Golden Harvest Temple of Light and of Love and Light. And her name is, and please forgive me because I've been practicing this. She even sent me voice memos so I could try to be better at this. Chief Iyanifa Osunfemi Nisimi. Oh, yes. Meaning, Mother of Prosperity, High Priestess of Oshun. Ifa brings me peace. And Ifa means the Word of God. So her name translates into the Word of God brings me peace. Help me greet once again Reverend Ruth Spears to give us a little bit of more context to the rituals and ways of Oshun. About a day. 10 minutes? Yeah.
All right, so in about 10 minutes, because she can go on and on and on with this stuff, the choir and the drummers will come up here, and then Osunfemi will know, okay, I guess, since this is, this kind of congregation where we're busy people and we have things to do.
Talk as long as you want.
As if we aren't all busy people who have a lot.
Amen.
When I leave here, I have to assist with the christening at 1 o'clock. So, yeah. I started this journey in 1986, and I knew nothing about the Yoruba spiritual system. So I had always, in college, I had been interested in ethnic studies. I'm a child of the 60s. I graduated from high school in 1964. So that tells you that I'm up there with a lot of you. I wasn't a hippie. Yes, I grew up in San Francisco. No, I wasn't a hippie. I wasn't a flower child. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I worked on my master's in marriage and family counseling here in Pensacola through Troy State. I worked in the Department of Defense and retired civil service from the Navy Station here in Pensacola. Traveled extensively in Europe, but I have traveled, cruised the Nile for my 45th birthday. And I have been to Nigeria. I was crowned Iyanifa, which is High Priestess in Oshogbo, Nigeria, which is Osun State, the freshwater state. I am a 23-year minister, a 22-year priestess, and a 9-year Iyanifa. And we mark these milestones by having a little celebration every year for whatever. And as you can see, when I write my title, it takes up at least half a page. My first title was Iya Osunfemi, and so that is the title that I go by because it's easier for everyone to remember and say. Because if you had to say whatever she said, You would be like the two men sitting on your side of the road trying to decide if you'd said it right. I do a class for seekers, people who are trying to learn more about their culture. And I was working in the Navy Library, the medical library at the Navy Station, when the Human Genome Project was completed. And that project found that everyone, just about everyone in the world, they're still trying to find Neanderthal genes, okay? But just about everyone in the world has 4 to 6% African blood. And just about every African American has European blood. So we are all there is, and all there is us. The human genome opened up a whole new world when it came to identification. So when the children, and those are the people who are seekers, say, well, this is an African system, and I say, we believe in reincarnation. I don't know how you feel about that, but the Africans believe in reincarnation, okay? And if you have Chinese in your DNA, and you discriminate against someone who's Oriental, Asian, whatever, and you come back as Chinese, and they have to stop and think about that. Okay. The Ifa Orisha spiritual system is over 10,000 years old. And it has been documented. There are some versions of the Bible that have even documented the lineage of the people. During the slave trade, when they brought the Africans to the New World, yes, there was a slave trade in Africa, but it was not the same as the economic slave trade that the Europeans brought to the New World. The New World is where we are now. And that slave trade went on for 700 years before it came to America. And then it was in America for 350 years. So when you look at the islands and wonder why they haven't progressed as much as maybe we have, how many generations is 1,000 years? Okay. So they have a long way to catch up. And we have a lot to take care of ourselves. So then when the slaves were brought over to the New World, they were brought by the Spanish and the Portuguese, who were Catholic. And they were given a mandate, convert to Catholicism or die. So they were able to see their spiritual system in the statues in the church. So they converted. And Orisha, even though they had mixed up the different tribes so they couldn't rebel, they couldn't talk to each other, they didn't have the same language, they didn't have the same customs, they didn't have the same deities. But Orisha was easy to understand. They projected Orisha onto the Catholic statues, and that became what we know as Santeria, which is a religion. Ifa Orisha is not. It is a spiritual system within a culture, because you don't worship deities. There's only one God. So when they brought the people over here, they were the ordinary people. It was the kings, the queens, the princes, the princesses, and the priests who came later. Those were the ones that were brought to America because they were the last ones they caught. It only took 2 or 3 generations and people forgot their culture. It was in the 50s and the 60s when the Nigerians started coming to America, going to the colleges, that Ifa Orisha was brought back to the people. Black people were not allowed, under a lot of circumstances, to even be part of Santeria. That was a Spanish thing, okay? And all of that had to be kept underground because, okay, that voodoo stuff. Well, yeah, there was voodoo that came out of some places. But voodoo is a legitimate religion in the Congo. And it's not about sticking pins in dolls. It's about helping people. They call on their ancestors and they solve problems. Now, personally, I'm not into voodoo because there's too much of that New Orleans stuff going on. But I am into the Nigerian Ifa Orisha spiritual system, which has taught us that we are worthy of the blessings that we receive, that we are worthy of respect. We have to learn to love ourselves so that we can truly love others. That we need to take care of ourselves, our homes, our families, and our communities. And if we don't, we will have polluted water, polluted air, polluted society. And none of us want that. So, like I said, in college, I got interested in ethnic studies. I started collecting African art. I collected African artifacts in Paris, in Nuremberg, in Belgium. I brought a few things back from Africa, Nigeria. But my house looks like a museum. My kids say they grew up in a museum because they had masks and stuff all over the place. The point that Ifa Orisha makes in the world is that this ancient system works no matter where it goes. One of the funniest things I ever saw was a Japanese group singing Orisha songs and doing Orisha dances. Orisha are in England, France, Norway, Germany, United States, South America, the islands. It's everywhere. But it is here. It's not out there. And that's why I am here today. To let you know that we are trying to raise a family that understands that there is a better way to live their lives.
Can you also tell me about the closing dance thing we're going to do?
And so what Mike has asked me to explain was, when we close a service, Isheshe means traditional. And traditionally in Nigeria, we don't have service on Sunday. We have gatherings when we have to do stuff. But our Christian background, we have service on Sunday. So during service on Sunday, we do all of this, and then we close. And when we close, we continue to make a joyful noise to the world and to the Lord. And so we sweep away the energy, and it carries us physically out the door and to our homes. Now, you have to understand that we are praying folks in Ifa Orisha. Even when your candles were being lit here, I was praying for you. Because we don't even believe in lighting a candle unless we put a positive prayer on that flame. Every candle that has been lit here today, I have said a prayer for you. And I ask that you pray and continue to pray for each other. As we close the presentation, he's right, I could talk forever. As we close the presentation that I have brought to you today.
And Osunfemi's gonna sit in this chair and lead you guys in like the ceremonial, like dance, I guess you'd call it.
Move the energy.
Yeah, move the energy. Osunfemi is my godmother, so when I see them, like I'll go like this, they'll give me a blessing, which is awesome.
The blessing is for God and his angels, Bobo Oto, Olodumare, and the Orisha, that God and his angels, all that energy that I am to carry, I impart upon you.
Thank you. So if you're inclined to stand up, we usually make like 2 rows in the middle. So we'd be like this, and then you'll follow Osunfemi, just like a little hand motion, and we'll go. These guys are going to play. What were they playing? Oh yes, Obudede. This is a rhythm for Obu, like a god of iron. So.
close today with words from Rebecca Ann Parker, Reverend Rebecca Ann Parker, who is brilliant in writing and her social justice work, and she's a hero of mine, she wrote mine. Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with an intention of doing good. It's an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty and grace and mystery abide. None of us alone can save the world, but together now, that's another possibility altogether waiting. Blessed be, amen, ashe, and thank you for your presentation today. Have a great week, y'all, but do good.